Welcome back. We're going to get into this next video for Sagittarius placements for Uranus, Neptune, Mercury, Mars, Pluto, all of that. We're going to get into for Sagittarius in this video. So welcome back. If you don't know, I'm Serene Spirit. Only elevate, never let them break, never let them break, yeah. Never let them take, yeah. Never let them break, never let them break, yeah. Let's get into the Sagittarius placement, starting with your Mercury. Mercury is Sagittarius. Mercury deals with communication. So Sagittarius is already a friendly sign, very outgoing, very social. When it comes to a Sagittarius Mercury, if I look down, I'm just looking at notes. But a Sagittarius Mercury, they need a lot of stimulation because they are Sagittarius. They do change very frequently. They change jobs frequently. They change environments frequently. Sometimes they change people frequently. But they do need a lot of change. So Sagittarius and Mercury, they can be, when they're talking, they don't really think before they speak. They can be very blunt and outspoken. They don't hold a lot of tact when they're talking. You know, they just say what they got to say and that's it. They don't like to beat around the bush. They just like to keep it straightforward with you. So that they can, communicate in that way. But yeah, that's pretty much a Mercury and Sagittarius. Again, it just talks about your communication and your intellect. Next up, we have your Sagittarius and Venus. Okay, your Venus is your love sign. So like I said, these individuals don't like emotional commitments. So they can have very adventurous love affairs. They like adventure in everything that they do, even love. So they see it as an adventure, not really a emotional commitment that they have to be tied down to. Again, your Venus doesn't represent just romantic. This can be platonic, friends, family, lovers, etc. So these individuals, they can have adventurous love affairs. They want to have an adventurous love life because they love adventure and everything. They don't want to sacrifice their freedom. So if you're an individual who wants to keep them bogged down and chained to you, if it's not including some type of an adventure, they don't want to do that. They actually find it easier to deal with their friends than it is to deal with their lovers, because with the love, you have to have that emotional commitment. So with friends, their friends just may adore and love them. May love them more than their significant others. They may have a lot more friends, loyal friends, than they would an actual committed relationship. Not all the time, because it depends on your whole chart. But a Venus, specifically in Sagittarius, talks about love, so that's what that describes. And because they don't really like to show emotion and they can be detached, they can confuse their partners sometimes, unless their partner is able to understand them. They do choose partners who are detached as well. So unless their partner is able to understand them, they may cause some confusion when dealing with another individual when it comes to love. But that's it for Venus and Sagittarius. Next, we have a Mars. Mars, again, is how you assert yourself. It's actually the Roman god of war. So how you assert yourself, your temper, your sex drive. So with Mars and Sagittarius, because they're very adventurous, they're brave, they're independent, and they're daring. So that's how they assert themselves in the world. They can be very impulsive as well and rash. And again, they see emotional commitments as restricting. So that also goes for a Mars. They can have numerous affairs. Because again, Mars, it represents your sex drive. So they can have numerous affairs. And they can also be very quick-witted when they assert themselves. But that's pretty much Mars and Sagittarius. Next, we have Jupiter. So let me start by saying Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter is all about luck, blessings, and etc., etc. So being that Jupiter rules this planet, it feels so comfortable in Jupiter because Sagittarius is already a lucky sign. Jupiter, it just heightens that. All right, so with the Jupiter Sagittarius, they're very lucky. They're the luckiest when the sun is in Aries, Leo, or Sag. So when it's in a fire placement or a fire element, that is when Sagittarius is the luckiest. They do attract a lot of financial luck and abundance. So they love to spend that money and they love to live well. So they can do that because they attract a lot of financial abundance. And like I said, that's the natural placement for Sagittarius is Jupiter. So that's just the perfect placement. That's it for Sagittarius and Jupiter. Next, we have a Saturn and Sagittarius. So we have a Saturn in Sagittarius, which represents your worth ethic and the way you discipline yourself, the way you commit. So with the Sagittarius placement in Saturn, their success can be delayed. So when they're trying to work, especially in their early years, when they're trying to work hard to get to something, it can be delayed. But as they get older, they become very wise and they learn how to manage that. Things may be delayed because of their adventurous nature and the need for adventure. Once they figure out how to balance that, it can be very difficult balancing that because they're trying to balance their adventurous nature, and the Saturn is all about discipline and working hard. So they're trying to balance that working hard and keeping order and wisdom with the Saturn, and also their need for being adventurous. When they have a Sagittarius in Saturn, because they can be very tactless, that placement can help them see, you know, as I said, as they get older, they learn to be a little bit more wise. They learn how to talk a little bit better, with more tact, should I say. So with that placement, it kind of highlights and brings that to the forefront. So they're always trying to balance that, like I said, that adventure and that adventurous side and that need for Saturn discipline and being wise. So because you guys, or because this placement doesn't have a lot of tact, like I said, it's possible that they can mess up their reputation because they, you know, they just say what they gotta say. So just be careful with that because you don't want to mess up your reputation, especially with this Saturn and Sagittarius. A lot of the times that can happen with that placement, okay? But next we have the Uranus in Sagittarius. And this sign is about change and individuality. So this placement, they could be very restless and reckless. They're unconventional, so they don't really like to do things the way everyone else is doing them. They're rebellious. They rebel against structure, the norm. These individuals can also be prophetic. They can a lot of the times see when something important is going to happen. So kind of like psychic a little bit with this placement. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. But next we have a Sagittarius and Neptune. In order for you to have a Sagittarius and Neptune, you must be born between 1970 and 1984. These individuals, they have a very high purpose. They're very intellectual. They can be very humanistic. They can be leaders for other individuals. They can also be great philosophers. And they may desire to help third world countries. So this placement may desire to go out into a third world or foreign country, and their purpose may be to help in any way that may be needed. So this placement overall as Sagittarius. Now that's for Neptune and Sagittarius, but this placement overall for Sagittarius, they have a lot of luck when it comes to going over to foreign countries and third world countries. But specifically for Neptune and Sagittarius, they may desire to actually go over to a third world country, and their purpose may be to help that third world country or that foreign country. Okay, so next up we have, and lastly, Pluto and Sagittarius. All right, so your Pluto again is about your power and transformation. In order to be a Sagittarius and Pluto, you have to be born between 1995 and 2008. So these individuals, pretty much what they do, they seek a lot of truth. They seek a lot of knowledge. And because it's about transformation and change, what they do is they take that knowledge and that truth and they expose it to make a change or to transform a situation. Some people may see Pluto as destructive, but what it really does is it brings the truth to the surface so that you can live in that truth and transform and change. So when it's in Sagittarius, it does not shy away from doing that. And that could be anything. Like I said, it brings the truth and knowledge to the forefront so that things can change. That could be relationships, marriages that may come to an end, addictions, anything that's done in the dark pretty much, or the shadow side is brought to the light so that things could be changed for the better in this placement. So, and like I said, it's between 1995 and 2008. That's it for Pluto and Sagittarius. And that is all for all placements in Sagittarius. So I have completed Sagittarius placements. I'll put the link for my other video for the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant for Sagittarius. And also the link for my birth placement descriptions down below. So check all of that out. But I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video, which I'm going to break down Capricorn. So stay tuned, subscribe for the new upcoming content. Hope you have a great night, day, wherever you are. Stay blessed.